Make a motion to reconvene the regular meeting.
I'll make the motion.
I'll support.
And time is 5. Any public comment?
Can we just do one introduction since he came tonight? You want to introduce yourself? Yes, sir. Just so people know who you are.
Hi, my name is Joe Serrari. I work with Education Minnesota's field staff. And we've done some collaboration work in some of the other districts I work with, so just kind of curious to see what you guys are thinking about, see if there's anything we can do to help.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Recognitions of guests and visitors. Mr. Kazar, Business Manager, fiscal year 2024 budget presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I gave each a handout here, but this is the base budget that we've been working on. And the reason we didn't put it on for approval is that there's still some things pending that we're hopefully gonna get answers to very shortly, maybe within a week. It sounds like from the legislature, we have a second bid opening for our health insurance this week. So hopefully we'll have some more answers to be able to finalize this and get it approved at the next meeting, but I wanted to just get you up to date on where we were at. So starting just at the top of this, the general fund, it's our by far our biggest fund, it's our operating fund with a deficit of 460,000. And that is including using some of our ESSER 3 COVID money to offset. So it's a significant deficit there that we have to keep in mind, but with that said, there's some significant funding that we are expecting to go through, such as a 4% increase on the formula. My calculation here is 2%. There very good likelihood, high likelihood of some funding for the cross subsidy for our unfunded special education costs. That would, for Chisholm, amount to almost $340,000. There's additional funding for English learner revenue, American Indian education, student support personnel. That adds up to a package of almost $680,000 for the Chisholm School District, if it all passes this weekend, from what I understand. Any questions? Just jump in anytime if you want to have any questions. On the Fund 2, the food service fund, not a lot of clarity right now on what that's going to look like, because there's some talk about free meals and how long will that last, and are we expected to collect on our old debt. And but so I rolled it forward with that balanced budget. INAC does a really nice job of making sure that they keep a balanced budget for us. Transportation and deficit, I added the purchase or lease of another bus, because from what I understand, we need to get 1 or 2 more to complete our rotation.
We did, and then just this week, one of our buses, the turbo went on it, and the value of the replacement of that is higher than the value of the bus. And it's our oldest, I believe, oldest bus in the fleet, 2007. And that was our trip bus and our spare bus that up until this point has been real faithful to us. So we're gonna have to weigh options on that.
Yep, so planning potentially to overspend in the transportation area as well. The community ed is a fairly self-sustaining program that our expenditures try to match with our aid for a small deficit there. In the capital, just to be cautious, I carrying a deficit there of 52,000. Added some items for some textbooks and curriculum materials that we may need to update, as we had a discussion last week about that with a group in the boardroom here. From the state's perspective, Fund 1, 3, and 5 are all considered general fund, but in this region of Minnesota, we break it out. Just for I understand the goal is to be able to track the transportation capital a little more closely. Fund 6, the construction. I'm not sure what that's gonna look like. I took the management fees for Gensa and it found an average bill and multiplied it by 12 months, because from what I understand, that'll be the only construction costs we actually have in fiscal year 24, actually breaking ground in the fall of 25. Is that not accurate?
No,
Okay,
No.
open doors in the fall of 25.
Construction, I think, starts 24.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The fall of 24, so that'll be the next fiscal year.
Mhm.
So this coming fiscal year, there won't be physical construction?
Possibly,
Possibly
possibly
spring.
spring.
Okay.
Possibly spring.
So that's an item I'll have to look at and maybe get some more information from Gensa or ARI on what the schedule is and what we can expect to be spent. I suppose when the snow is gone next spring through the end of June. The debt redemption, that's where we service our existing bonds. That does include the new, it's 930,000 for the new issuance from the last election.
That, the revenue does include that?
It does.
That's
And
the,
as is the expense.
that's the levy, Alex.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, so on the revenue side, we levy for that additional money. And the expense goes out in the form of principal and interest payments. Fund 9 and some of Fund 18 are our scholarships. They're in and out funds. We generally don't get out more than what is in the fund. And the same with Fund 11, that's the extracurricular fund. And then Fund 45 is the OPEB trust. The revenue is what is the interest earnings on that money that's sitting in the account. And the expenses are the payments. And then fund, and that's not Fund 18, I'm sorry, it's 47, that last fund. Fund 47 is the debt service for that issuance from 2009. As long as we're on that topic, in the budget I'm presenting to you, I did increase the amount that we draw from that in the next fiscal year to cover our retiree health insurance. If you remember when Sterls were here, that pool will eventually start to shrink, and then we have this money that we have to use for retiree health insurance. So I changed it to the actual expected expenditures for OPEB health insurance. It wasn't, I think the previous policy was 281,000 to draw out, where the actuals are closer to 300,000 for next year. So with the board's blessing, I will leave that, and I think it's in the best interest to draw that money to meet our expenses, because if you sit on it too long, I don't even know what happens.
Yeah.
I don't know what you can do with it.
Well, from my understanding, whatever the retiree health insurance premium costs, that's what we take out of the OPEB to cover it. So we don't cover it from the general fund. And that's what this fund is for.
Yep.
Whatever it is, again,
Okay, and if that's the policy, we can move forward with that.
And that's the current, well, I shouldn't say that's the current cost, but the 291 is what you're estimating as retiree expenses.
Yes. For the district, yep. And I think it was previously a little bit less than that, and it had been for a couple of years.
Okay.
I think after I talked with Sterls and went through the process, I understand it a little bit better, and I feel comfortable recommending that we do that, because there's $5 million in that account, and someday down the road, there's not gonna be,
Yeah, kind of a place to spend it, and
Yes.
then it's in a trust and it has to be used for that,
for
so.
that purpose.
And didn't the 150 was kind of just like a number at the time, because they didn't know exactly, so they're like, take out 150 to pay for it, but if you can project what it is,
This
cover all
one, this 150, I'm sorry, Dave. This 150 is just what I'm anticipating for revenue in the form of interest.
okay,
But the other 150 was a board policy from,
Just 150, yeah, it wasn't actually based on what the costs were every year, but
Right.
if we have those, it's a good use of that.
I just don't think it's in the
I
interest.
don't mean to interrupt. I'm going to leave.
Director Souter has the previous engagement,
At our athletic banquet.
Athletic banquet.
Ms. Aldrich, could you make a note?
Yep.
5:23.
And of course, the other thing is that pool that is eligible for this is shrinking.
It is shrinking, yes.
So,
We have a fair number that are still on the platinum blue senior gold. These are our folks that are gonna be older than 65 years old. But that group that's 55 but not yet 65, they're still on like with the active plan, that group is getting pretty small. I think there's only 5 or 6 on that. And there's probably not many active employees that are, if any, that will qualify for that health insurance when they retire.
well, if they were hired after 2003, they don't qualify.
Right. So there's probably a few that are active that would fall under that, but. Yeah, so that's kind of the overview, and I guess I already mentioned some of the legislative updates. The health insurance, we're gonna hopefully have a new set of bids here at the end of the week. Talked about the ESSA money a little bit. And OPEB, that's all I had. With the notation that I gotta investigate the construction schedule for fiscal year 24.
Alex, I got one question. Do you know if we've received bids for health insurance yet?
We received first bids and we had an opening last week. And we just decided just to do the standard practice of going out for best and final. And see if they can sharpen their pencil up a little bit and help us out.
Okay.
Yep.
Do we know when the final opening is or no?
I believe it's Thursday or Friday.
Okay.
Any other questions of Mr. Kazar? Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Alan.
Mr. Chair.
Item number 4, approving the agenda with the following changes, adding items C and D to the consent agenda. These are staffing issues, and item C to the action agenda. Again, under personnel, staffing issue. As most people know, I don't like adding anything to the agenda at the last minute. However, being that we have 3 weeks until our next official board meeting, and these are due to employment issues, I would entertain a motion to add those.
I'll motion approval.
I'll support.
All those in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item number 5, reports. We have our principals. Who would like to go first?
Yeah, just got some numbers for you that are somewhat positive. To start out with, graduation rates from, if we go back to 21, they were pretty low. They were 77%. These are calculated through a pretty complicated formula, starting kids back in 9th grade and kids that transfer in, kids transfer out. But basically it follows those kids. And we were at 77% 2 years ago. We just got our rates out a couple weeks ago, and we're up to 90% last week. So typically we're in the mid to high 80s, but then we have some years where we're a little bit lower, a little bit higher. So, but it was up quite a bit. Kind of a negative thing, our out of school suspensions are down 20% this year. I just ended up doing my reports, barring me suspending a bunch of kids in the last 7 days of school. But it's kind of a positive thing. I know the past 2 years since most of the schools came out of COVID, basically went back to schools. A lot of schools, just the talk amongst principals is how bad the behavior was, and how the numbers were up on everything. Attendance was down, and suspensions were way up. And for some reason, we've kind of just held the line where we're at, and it's been similar to what we had pre-COVID. Just so you know, our attendance is slightly up, and that's part of that is that I think a big part of that is the athletic. Requiring kids to be here all day, no matter what, even unless they have an appointment or Even if they're sick for the morning, they feel better, we don't let them practice or participate if, and we don't always catch it, of course. But, and a big piece of that is Mary Jo too. She takes the phone calls and she reminds parents almost every time, so she's played a big part in that. But our attendance is slightly up and we've been getting a little bit better every year since COVID, so that's a positive thing. Just some upcoming things, we got graduation, 40 graduates. We'll have practice on June 1st, that's a Thursday. The kids they'll tour the bond, they'll tour the elementary in their cap and gowns, and then they'll have their little barbecue party out in the parking lot, so stay away from there in the afternoon on Thursday, June 1st, you'll probably get sprayed with water guns. And then we'll have graduation at 7 o'clock on Friday night, June 2nd. I got Bob and Daniel sit on stage, so for that, so. Mrs. Carroll, I'm reporting for Mrs. Carroll, she and Mrs. Albert and Mrs. Winder also took part in this, but Mrs. Carroll did most of the work for it's not a grant, but it's legislative money that we're getting from the Purpose Center. And it's basically to support a K-12, comprehensive K-12 arts program. They want to do some planning so that we basically bring it all together, K-12. And so it's kind of cohesive. We're adding arts at the elementary level for next year too. So they're going to get $5,000 to work with over the next 2 years to do some planning and just kind of tie everything together K-12. And like I said, Mrs. Carroll did the majority of the work on that, along with Mr. Lowe and Mrs. Winder and Mrs. Albert. And the last thing, we got several things going on. I know Danielle just left for the athletic banquet, that's tonight, awards banquet. Of course, scholarships is on Wednesday, then the baccalaureate, I believe, is next Wednesday, next week too. So a ton of activities going on. There's kids get ready to graduate in less than 2 weeks here, so. Any questions? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. To continue with some of the data, we are finishing up our last round of benchmarking, which is pretty exciting. We are World's Best Workforce goal, all students that literacy goal by 3rd grade. In the fall, we had said we had 44% that were at target, and right now, after some of the preliminary data, we have 70%. So we grew that much this last year, and I do account it for, and I know I don't want to steal their thunder, but our new Sunday program, the phonics part of it, we've gotten some really good feedback on that. And I think the best part is that our special ed teachers are doing it, our title teachers are doing it, and our classroom teachers, and that's where you see the growth. As one consistently, we're seeing that same thing take place. So that's exciting. We also had our kindergarten sneak peek, and that was awesome. We got some really great feedback that some kids were on the line of whether or not they were going to come to Chisholm or go to other schools, and because of what they saw and what happened, they're coming our way. So that's really great. Right now, we already have 43 registered. We're still waiting for some paperwork to come in, but I'm told that that's really early. Like typically, we don't get this till the start of the school year, so I'm still anticipating that we'll get some more. So this is great news. We already had 22 per class. We had a field day last week at the CE building, thanks to Ms. Dewhurst and some high school volunteers and lots of other adult support there. It was a great day. The kids were, we saw kids excel that don't always excel in the classroom, and we might have some new track stars and kids out there. I haven't ran 100, but I will not be signing up in the future for that. Ms. Dewhurst is also going to have a field day, not technically a field day tomorrow at the VS, it's more of a station. We want to get our kids outside and doing some of those activities. We're hoping that in the future we can go over to the big field and experience that as well. We had our CE and VS spring concerts. I want to thank Mr. Baker and Ms. Lubavitch. This was Mrs. Lubavitch last time. We tell Mr. Baker never say never. He might be back with us next year, but I know Ms. Lubavitch is retiring for sure. So, but those were greatly attended. It was nice to see, and the kids did a great job with that too. We had a Title I Parent Night event, despite the power outage. I know Ms. Anderson is here. We did the best we can. We had 40 pizzas coming, and so, but we fed them and we did what we could there. So it was a great night. We had some good activities planned. So hopefully in the future we'll continue to do those. We have so many field trips and events taking place in and around the community these last few weeks. I know they did a field trip to Valentini's, the Discovery Center, Space Theater, Museum of Mining, the Water Research. They're going to Lake Park, Side Lake, Side Lake, Little Planetarium. We have Kinderbration coming up this week too, so we'll celebrate our kindergartners. And then we have our June first end of the year family event from 4 to 6, so hopefully it'll be a great turnout for that. And we released butterflies today and there's a literature show, and I know our 3rd and 6th graders are also doing their orientations into the new building. So that's always nice to have them, make them feel a bit more comfortable for doing that too. And I had a great first year. I just want to thank you for your support and just all the teachers and staff at the VE, RVS and CE buildings, and just want to thanks for a great year. Lots of fun stuff coming up the next few weeks, so, yeah. All right, any questions? Sorry, bleh. I could go on for days, but I don't have other things that they want to hear. No.
Next are deans of students.
Oh, I see, they come up together.
Yeah.
I see how this works.
Smarter, not harder, right?
Thank you.
And no, we're not gonna read all the slides.
No, we're not reading it all. We figured, okay. We figured you guys can. So this year, we kind of did a refresh, a revamp, and a restart of our PBIS. After COVID, we felt that it was important for us to do that. So at the beginning of the year, we did kind of a refresher course. We also had weekly assemblies, PBIS assemblies, both at the Vaughn and here, where students were recognized. And we collected about over 10,000 Blue Street Pride tickets this year. So that was a great accomplishment. We also gave out golden awards like the Golden Shoe Award for sportsmanship, the Golden Broom for when they're in the cafeteria. We had the Golden Book. I'm trying to think what else we had. We had a Golden Music Note, yeah. So and did I say Golden Book? We had one for the library. So yeah, the kids really loved getting those. So those were classroom awards. And then we made sure that we were promoting some school pride, so all the students learned the school song. We would sing it every week at those assemblies. And we also did PBIS shirts and Chisholm shirts that the kids could buy and wear those each week, so.
We also were able to get in some science purchasing of PhD science and Open Science, which bring us to the modern model of science education where we are more student-led, student-centered, focused, et cetera. It's following our updated 2019 standards. The health studies 5.8, we've updated that curriculum, which can be modified and amplified as we keep making sure that they align to not only our state benchmarks, but also the national standards.
Carla mentioned that the Sunday phonics, and this was a systematic, explicitly taught phonics program for all of our K-3 students. Some other curriculum moving forward, because we have some new standards coming, would be looking at an ELA curriculum that focuses on the science of reading. Some of the new legislation that just passed have specific criteria for following the science of reading and getting a curriculum that follows that. We are looking at some inquiry-based math programs all the way through 12th grade. And then this year, we are going to get some extension of our Smart Lab, the broadcasting and journalism portion of it. So that will be over in the high school.
So beyond that, smart studios, we're actually going to be able to film, record. Mr. Bing will do the journalism and broadcasting, and it is something that can eventually move into CTE formats. I have included some of our other CTE information because that idea that they're career ready and college ready is super important. And Mr. Johnson is working towards adding traditional robotics. I talked him into joining me in robotics teams this year, so he's amped up with that and has been in communication with other teachers of that source. Mrs. Fleming has worked hard at the work-based seminar and work-based learning programs, and honestly, I think we're in a good position to keep going with that, and I think it has a lot of potential to give kids an opportunity to work and learn those soft skills.
So this was our second year that our 5th graders got to go to Starbase in Duluth. And this year I got to join them and Mrs. Winter also got to join them for a few days. So we got to watch them engage with each other and complete some challenges. For example, they designed and created their own wind turbines. They coded Land Rovers, they flew rockets, some other things, like they investigated and did some manipulation of augmented reality and artificial intelligence programs, along with some other things, but those are kind of the ones that stood out to the kids. And they also got to walk on Mars virtually, and they don't like that, so. So the Northeast Area Gifted and Talented Program, this was our third year of participating in that. This year, we had 2 6th grade students that actually met the qualifications to be part of the accelerated math program. That math program replaced their other math program here at Chisholm. So they worked virtually with a teacher from Ely. And then we also had a math enrichment program. This was for all of our K through 6 students who qualified, and we had 47 students this year. So that number had gone up from last year. I think last year we had 30 some. So yeah, we had 47 that qualified for that this year, so, yeah.
Robotics in our second year, we took on the Hibbing High School robotics team and we absorbed them into Wayne Enterprises Incorporated. We went to regionals in Duluth, Lake Superior Regional, and we managed to place in finals with our alliance. So we were the second place alliance team. And with 3 other teams that were second place alliance. And that meant that we got enough points to go to the state tournament. So we got an invite to the Minnesota State High School League state tournament in the first weekend in May. We participated, we worked hard, but none of our alliance teams won each round that we were on that alliance. So even though several of our alliance members went on to actually get the championship, we got a great experience of being in the top 36 teams in the state, so.
So you guys got to go upstairs and see the smart lab, and you got to see some of the learning tools that the kids use. I would have to say, and Mrs. Jensen might correct me on this, but I think the kids' favorite one were the flying the drones. I mean, the first day they did that, I was sitting in my office and all of a sudden I just see these things whizzing back and forth in the hallway, so, and one ended up in my office at that point in time, so that was fun to see. And they also really like the makey pianos, the ones that they can make music with. And then a few more things for just some fun things that have been going on. We did a reading challenge in March, and at the Vaughn, the students read over 1,383 books during the month of March. And here, our students read 236 books, but these are chapter books that they're reading, so that was pretty good for our students here too. Mrs. Pacinda, she teaches our 5th and 6th grade ELA class. She did some inquiry based learning with students, and they were doing biography projects. So the 5th graders did a wax museum, and the 6th graders got to create biography bottles, and those are actually upstairs in the library if you want to see them. They're up around the top, yeah. So those are fun things that they get to do that they look forward to. Mrs. Winter pretty much touched on all the other things that I have on my list, so.
And I guess more than anything for the high school end of it is we've had some additional, we're gonna add a 8th grade field trip to the planetarium, 8th grade earth science until next year, we'll turn to physical science. And so they're gonna go ahead and take a trip this Friday to the Pucci Space Theater, learn more about the constellations, and mind you, to learn a lot more about our mining industry here on the range. And you can see what other amazing things that our teachers produce and work for our students to attend. A logging expo, the Mesabi Range open houses that help to, help students realize what's out there, what's available, and what's affordable, and what can actually make them a career. We had several speakers. Oh, yeah, that's nice. We actually got some speakers. Minnesota came in, Ron Wilson, to the high school, and this will be the 3rd year of our kickball tournament, which is next Wednesday, all day long. PLC groups, we worked through Schoology to complete our Schoology training hours, and then we are starting to work more towards that focusing on child improvement data in order to use Prolific more effectively and to get the students the resources and the interventions that they need in order to succeed. Schoology has gone really well. The high school, the questions come few and far between. And most of the time, they just need to take a moment and they have it figured out. So they've done a really good job of blending in those materials.
Okay, and then today is actually the first day of Modern Classroom Project. We have 5 teachers that have signed up to be part of this class. It's a 5-week self-paced course, and teachers are learning to create blended self-paced mastery units for their students that they can do at their own pace, so they can reach mastery. And so this is a new instructional model that they're learning. So teachers can focus more on helping individual students or small groups of students that may need some extra support, whereas others who do not need as much support can move at their pace and move forward. So that starts today, and so over the next 5 weeks, they'll be learning, and by the time they're done with that class, they will actually have one unit that they can try in their room. So we're hoping that these teachers will be part of a teach the teacher type thing. So we'll see this in other classrooms. And this can be used K-8 in any discipline. And then, so we are part of the NEASC regional curriculum team. And so 2 things that we've been working a lot on this year is we have been planning the Regional Professional Development Day in August. That is where area schools, we all meet. We used to have it at Virginia. This year, we're going to have it at Mesabi East and Mount Iron, correct? Yes. So the high school will go to one location and the elementary will go to another location. And that is a day where they will have speakers and they will have sessions that they can go to. Also this summer in June, right after school ends, we've had 4 or 5 teachers sign up for the grading and assessment conference that we're having someone from Solution Tree come in and do this 2-day conference. It will also be presented to the principals on the 12th at Fortune Day at their principal conference.
This just gives us a timeline of the new state standards for implementation and review. As teachers have to review standards and get them mapped out so that we're following the curriculum correctly. Phi-Ed is expected to, as well as the arts, all of the arts programs, implementation next year. And so we will go through those prior and make sure that we are teaching these standards. Science got pushed back again to match the MCA state exam. And so that gives us a little bit more time to get really these students up to speed on the model of self-inquiry. And then the ELA standards, which have been out as well, will be fully implemented by 25-26, but we got some state stuff to sort out again. And I always like to come back to what was the cause, why Robbie and I are here. And so here's the 7 goals of our strategic plan for academics in this school. And the stars or the asterisks is really are what we've touched on, community and commerce connections with the work programs, current relevant curriculum. We still are working on accessing and getting those adopted. District-wide diverse technology, we've got lots of technology going, it's starting to balance out, and people are becoming more comfortable with it. And we've definitely hit on the social emotional support throughout our K-8 and with our 7-12 as well.
Any questions? I know that was a lot. We had a great year. We had a great year. We had lots of.
I do have a question on the self-paced course with the mentors. You did say that is not only for those who may lag a little bit, but it's also for those gifted, for lack of a better term, or more advanced, I should say.
Yes.
We really want to grow the independence of our students because that leads to leadership skills.
Okay.
I just have one question.
Yeah.
Do you guys do any work with CTE with the service co-op?
I think I've only had one discussion personally, otherwise I've been just a code finder this year, so. And then helping out where people need more
Okay,
curriculum.
And we did have Aubrey come in and meet with our admin team last Friday.
the CTE person at the co-op is John Engelking. He used to be superintendent in Proctor. And he's on board doing CTE for the co-op. Plural, so I don't know if you guys are interested, I'll leave that with you guys. If you are, let me know, I can talk to John.
Anything else? Thank you.
Thank you.
Facilities and grounds.
Good evening, just a couple updates here. Ron Intertech is going to be starting bore sampling on our site, so we're bringing equipment today and we'll be doing some test boring through the rest of the week here, so if you see that machine, that's what they're up to. On May 8th, we had Minnesota Hoist Inspection come and do some hoist training, and then also do some inspections on our fall protection, slings, our forks for our Kubota, and then our hoist in the bus barn and our auto lift in the shop, the student shop, and everything looked good except that lift in the student shop failed inspection. So with that being said, we're gonna look at what grant monies are out there. That's kind of a 2-post A-style type lift that could only be positioned in one place in that shop. And it was very hard to get vehicles in and out of there, so it was not necessarily used to its potential, but because of the, vehicles being able to get in there. So we're looking at a drive-on style and seeing if we can put that so it's a straight-in shot, or coming up with how the bus barn ends up and so on and so forth, if there's an addition, better place for the shop to be moved around. So some things to be considered there in the future, but those lifts they run between $6,000 and $15,000 or even more, but that's kind of the starting point of what I think would work for our students there. So anyways, that's something coming down the line. Back in November, we had been approved for a new and instead of using all the dollar amounts, we bought a used one. We've had a couple issues with it, but they're fixable. But we did come across another used one that fits within the remainder of that budget, and we're looking at that closely because with our geographical area, if we have to go in for a fix, that leaves us without a machine. If we were to get a new one, it's anywhere from like before 3 to 9 months, and so we have an option to kind of add to our fleet as we have one that's getting close to aging out, as it's starting to rust out in certain places. We can make some temporary fixes to make it last to the end of life, because it's not worth anything to sell it, but it's worth something to us. So we don't know when the end of life is, so we're looking at adding another mower with the remainder of that original budget that was approved. And that's gonna be for about $15,000. Any questions on that at all?
But the one that's aging out we're still gonna use it
Yeah,
for
we're gonna use it
whatever we can.
Until as long as we can.
Okay,
Ball fields and so on and so
Yeah,
forth,
okay.
but we just don't know when it could actually die. So we're hoping to still get a little bit of life out of it. We did have a bus incident down in Booth on a field trip. The driver looked back and he lifted his foot a little bit and rolled into a vehicle. There was no injuries, just a little damage. I just want to let you know that we did have an incident, but everybody was safe and we took precautions with the driver. Got him back safely and went through some tests before he was back behind the wheel. So pool work is scheduled to be done end of June and early July. It's going to take about 2 weeks to complete. So swim classes with community ed are scheduled around that. I just don't have a definite day that they're coming, but we're working around that end of June, early July. We did get the second lead and water results back and from the retest, and working with the plumbers to come up with some alternate solutions there as far as replacing pipes or working around it. Some of the sinks aren't used on a day-to-day basis, so we'll just be putting some signage there and as needed. As Mr. Norman said, bus 9's turbo went out. So I'd like to look at, in your discussion, looking at a working session, just to get an overall picture with our transportation fleet. And so we don't have to talk about it at a board meeting, we can focus just on that between small fleet and our buses and that sort of thing. So maybe when we get to discussions, we can look at, you guys can look at some dates or even throw them to, some dates that might be available to Lisa, and then we can look at that within the next week or two before our next board meeting. So, going to be meeting with my crew tomorrow again. We're looking at the summer schedule and getting a game plan for that. So, yeah, just kind of wrapping things up, and it's been a very busy spring. Kudos to the crew for stepping up and with the late melt, scrambling for field trips and baseball, softball, track, you name it, every night there's buses going out. So just a nice job of everybody pitching in on that. So that's all I have.
Any questions for Mr. Purdy?
Thank you.
Thank you. On the next item 6, approval of the consent agenda. The consent agenda consists of the minutes of May 8th, 2023 regular meeting, minutes of May 15th, 2023 special meeting, approval of the transfer of Ryan Lucas to job number 229, transportation foreman, Chisholm School District, effective June 5th, 2023. And item D, approve the transfer of Jake Landacre to job number 230, high school custodian bus driver, afternoon shift, effective June 5th, 2023. I would like to entertain a motion.
I'll motion.
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Item 7 on your agenda, personnel. Item A, motion to approve the hiring of Kayla Schneuer. I think I'm saying that right? Schneuer. My apologies to Kayla. As a 1.0 FTE special education instructor for Von Steffensroot, effective August 29th, 2023. Entertain a motion.
So maybe
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
5:55.
5:55 PM is the official motion. Item B, motion to approve the hiring of Chelsea Schmitz as the level 1 cross-country coach, effective August 14th, 2023. Entertain a motion.
so maybe support.
Motion by Director Lappy, support by Director Karati Simon. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries at 5:56 PM. Ms. Schmitz had to leave, but she expresses her excitement and eagerness to get started. Item C, under personnel, motion to approve the hiring of Sarah Petso as .5 art specialist and .5 title instructor for the Von Steffensroot and Elementary School, effective August 29th, 2023. Entertain a motion.
I'll motion approval.
Support.
Motion by Director Raha, support by Director Lappy. Time is 5:56. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 8, administrative business. Motion to approve the payment to Renaissance in the amount of $16,505.40 for the purchase of Fastbridge Renaissance Accelerated Reader and Renaissance Star 360 as presented. We wish it was $16.
So made.
Support.
Motion by Director Lappy, support by Director Raha. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Item number 9, just discussion. We just have a notice of desire to negotiate by Mr. Ferdine, Facilities and Grounds Operations Supervisor. He has given us a formal letter on that. A couple other things, I just wanted to make note that June 2nd is the end of the year lunch down at the school bus garage, is that correct? Correct. And that is provided by, these are provided by AFSMI
I
and
think the bargaining
the
units.
bargaining units, okay, I'll keep it at that. That starts at 11:30, we appreciate that. Those that can attend, please do so. We have received a donation from the Dr. Owens Foundation in the amount of $12,000 for scholarships that will be officially on the next agenda. I'd like to thank Ms. Jensen and the students of the Smart Lab for hanging around today and showing us some of their fine work. I do apologize for the short time that we did spend up there, but thank you to them. Last item of discussion is the July 24th city council, school board meeting. And afterwards, a meeting with the school's attorneys, Mr. Colosimo. And I know that there is some conflict on this meeting, both meetings, actually, the regular meeting and the training afterwards. I will not be in attendance. I have made a commitment to the CCF Foundation on their annual outing. CCF does give the school district quite a bit of funding through the year, and I think this is just a little show of support back to them. Any suggestions? Do we still want to keep this? Do we want to, Mr. Rajas, Director Rajas has done a nice job trying to schedule this.
The first date was the 26th of June, right? That didn't work for some members and now he's out of town.
I think what, Mr. Chairman, if it pleases the board, I mean, I don't think the board has an issue with changing the date of the school board meeting. Because, we need 4 to conduct business, and if we don't have 4, there's no sense in even coming. So, I don't know, I'm open to about anything, doesn't matter.
Maybe we should put this on and we can maybe look for another date. So this is a Monday and this is a conflict with CCF. So maybe we should look for a different date so that we have enough.
I know Director Rice attends the.
Yep, that's what I was gonna say. I think there's at least 2 promotions. Yeah, one thing.
Do you have his contact information? To email him, Mr. Colosimo? I can get that for you if you need it.
I can try to phone the rest stop right now.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
For 7/1/4500. For 7/4, I'm sorry, 7/1.
474? No, 474.
7/4/1/4500.
Yeah, and if we could just line it up with ourselves and then John's schedule also,
So I think maybe on our next agenda, Ms. Aldrich, we will make that an agenda item, is the July 24th regular meeting. Maybe the board will want to switch to the 25th, or,
Yeah.
I think we did that last year.
And I have a conflict with Tuesdays typically, but it's not the end of the world if one is missing, but if we're missing a quorum, then we can't get anything done. So
Anyway, we'll put it on the agenda for the next meeting.
Yeah.
Any other discussion?
I'm a fan of doodles, they just seem to work really well. Because then you just know what everybody's done.
Well, with no other business to entertain, I will make a motion to adjourn the regular meeting of the Chisholm School Board.
I will motion.
I also support
Dr. Waha, by support by Director Crowdy Simon. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, regular meeting is adjourned at 6:02 p.m. We do have the special meeting